One Pride, what's going on? It's your boy, T. Back at it again with another episode of Talking with T. Let's get into it. Let's get after it, man. On this channel, we chase down the best version of ourselves when we talk about sports. If that interests you, do me a favor and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow and get an algorithm, and I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to watch me. So let's dive right into the video, man. Woo! We're about 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and the Lions currently hold the number 2 pick and the number 32 pick and the number 34 pick. So that's 3 picks in the top 34. You better be hitting on all these guys because it's so important when you're in the top 2 or when you're in the top 3 to get yourself a stud. And especially look at the Detroit Pistons draft class a couple years ago. You got Killian Hayes, who's been balling out recently, and later in the draft you had 3 first-round picks. You got stud Isaiah Stewart, and you got Saddiq Bey after Isaiah Stewart, or it was vice versa. But either way, that was 3 picks in the top 20. That's 3 picks in the top 34. You gotta go get yourself some studs. This could boost our rebuild so much faster, and it's so crucial we do not waste the number 2 pick on a corner. I cannot believe this mock draft that just came out by Mel Kiper. We can't take a corner with number 2. I don't care how big the guy is. I don't care how fast he is. You get yourself a premier defensive end. Lions haven't had a premier defensive end in years since Ziggy Ansah. Ziggy Ansah barely played because he was always banged up, but when he did play, he was a stud. I was a fan of Ziggy Ansah, but we've not had a premier pass rusher. If you add a premier pass rusher with the pass rush that was developing last year, imagine how good our defense could be. Whether it be Hutchinson, if Hutchinson doesn't go number 1, but the consensus is that he is going number 1. If he doesn't, if he falls to us at number 2, I'd be so ecstatic because the way he plays, I'm a Michigan fan. Go Blue all day. Any other school, I don't care about. Hutchinson is a stud. Hutchinson is a baller, and if you pair that with Dan Campbell, that's just a great culture match right there. But I think Hutchinson is going number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So at number 2, it's Thibodeaux or Travon Walker. Which one do you think has more upside? I think Walker. I think he's got more motor. I think he plays a lot harder than Thibodeaux, and he was on the best defense in the nation. He was on the best defense in one of the best conferences in the nation. Thibodeau's in the Pac-12, and he was dominant. And yeah, we all know about Thibodeaux. He's been the consensus number 1 for the last couple of years until the recent draft process. Who knows about Thibodeaux? I think he's going to be a freak athlete in the NFL. I think he's going to be a star in the NFL. So I would not be mad drafted Thibodeaux. But the reason I want Walker is I watched his motor. He just goes and cracks people, and he just non-stop, just relentless. And that's the same with Hutchinson, and it's the same with Thibodeaux. When they're playing and when they're on their game, they can take over the game, and that's what you need in the top 3. You don't gas on a player. You don't take a player that you think has the upside. You get yourself a stud. And like I was making that Pistons reference earlier, look what the Pistons did last year. They didn't waste that pick. The number 1 pick, you got yourself a superstar. And look what that did to this rebuild. Look what that did for the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are looking like a solid team within the next couple of years because they got themselves a superstar when they're in the top 2 or when they were the top pick. We're the top 2 team, and we don't ever want to be in this position again. So you better not waste it, and you better go get yourself a premier defensive end. Our offensive line is set. Maybe trade back and get more value and go draft a linebacker. But this first couple rounds, the first 3 picks in the top 34, set your defense up. Ever since Quinn Trisha left, we've been booty, bro. Our defense has been bad. Remember when Quinn and Trisha were our regime? We couldn't stop anybody on defense. So this is crucial. You can really revamp your defense getting 3 starters with these top 34 picks. Our offense is looking fine. I'm cool with our offense the way it was rolling at the end of the year. Our defense is what needs some talent. Go add yourself some talent. Go get you a defensive end, and at that number 32 pick, get yourself a safety or a wide receiver. I wouldn't be mad about any of these wide receivers either at 32. But 34 better be a safety, or it better be a linebacker. Or if you trade back and acquire more picks, you better go get yourself a linebacker, man. You cannot waste this pick. And if we take Malik Willis at number 2, I trust Brad Holmes. I trust the Detroit Lions staff because that draft they put together. But Malik Willis, this is my opinion on Malik Willis at number 2. You better think he's got the star potential. You better know that he's going to turn into something. Because look what the Chiefs did a couple years ago when they drafted Mahomes, man. Mahomes had the same thing coming out of college. He's raw. He throws a lot of picks. He's got a big arm. It's the same thing we're hearing about Malik Willis. And if we draft Malik Willis, he better turn into something like that. Number 2 pick is so important in the NFL draft, and you better not waste it. We already wasted the number 3 pick a couple years ago. We wasted the number 8 pick. Nothing against TJ Hockenson, but that wasn't the right guy to draft, man. We need to draft the right guy that's going to revamp this culture, or revamp this rebuild, and just keep the culture going. I love Hockenson. It wasn't the wrong pick. He's been a baller for us when he's healthy. But the number 8 pick, you don't draft a tight end. Just like the number 2 pick, you don't draft a corner. You go get yourself a quarterback, a defensive end, or a stud offensive tackle. Those are the 3 most important positions in football. And if you trade back, get more picks, go draft a linebacker that's going to be the captain of your defense. And everyone's like, oh, we have enough linebackers. We don't have any ballers right now. I want a linebacker like a couple years ago when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. They had 45, what's his name, Debo or something like that. That guy was just all over the place, and he was a rookie, and when they were in the Super Bowl, he was everywhere. That's the type of linebacker I want for the Detroit Lions, and you can acquire one if you do decide to trade back. But that number 2 pick, it better be Hutchinson, it better be Trayvon Walker, or it better be Thibodeau, because we need a premier defensive end here in Detroit. And it's your boy T signing out. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for taking your time out of your day to watch me, so I'll see you guys in the next video.